What's going on, Giants fans? We have breaking news. Daniel Jones has officially been ruled out by Joe Judge for this Sunday against the Miami Dolphins. So that means Mike Glennon is going to be under center for the Giants, and we need all the good vibes and all the good luck we can get. So go down right now and like this video if you want the Giants to beat the Dolphins. You don't want to wake up Monday morning and the Giants lost and you're thinking to yourself, if I just would have liked that stupid guy's YouTube video, we might have won. So like the video, and let's get into a Giants mailbag right now. Joe Judge spoke to the media today before Friday's practice, and it is official. After all of the differentiating reports from Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and even Giants insider Freddie Kitchens, Daniel Jones is out this Friday against the Miami Dolphins. Let's kind of go through what the week and everything that happened. He's dealing with that neck strain that happened on the second play last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. On Tuesday, Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport said he was expected to sit, whatever that means. Then Wednesday rolled around. Joe Judge said he was going to be a full go at practice. He practiced. He was wearing the non-contact jersey like all quarterbacks do. Then Thursday rolls around, and Freddie Kitchens was asked, who's going to be the starting quarterback Sunday? And he answered in a way that said Daniel Jones is going to be the guy at practice, and I expect it to be same old, same old. But it's not going to be, because it's going to be Mike Neck Glennon under center for the New York Giants. Pretty unfortunate. I'm a little disappointed because it seems like every year Daniel Jones always has a nagging injury. And I want you guys to jump into the comments and get your thoughts out. Let it all out. Get the steam off your chest. What is your one-word reaction to Daniel Jones being ruled out for the game this Sunday? The first question in this New York Giants mailbag, I asked you guys to submit your questions on our community post. You did so, and we'll feature them on today's show. And if you want to get into the next New York Giants mailbag, two-step process. You got to be a subscriber, so go down right now and hit that big red button and answer or drop your questions when I ask for them. My guy CFA, he asked a question saying, something I thought about was to make Joe Judge head coach GM. What do you think about that? I have a lot of thoughts. My first one is I'm not a fan of my head coaches having that much power. The first guy I think of is Bill O'Brien with the Houston Texans. He is a part of the worst trade ever in NFL history when he traded DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals for a washed-up running back. I don't like my coaches having that much power, but I do like my coaches having a little bit, if a good bit, of say-so in player personnel. And I think Joe Judge already has that a little bit. I think he was the driving force behind signing Kenny Golladay in the free agency period this past offseason. He ended the season last year saying the Giants needed to get more playmakers, and they went out and did so. Kadarius Toney, Kenny Golladay, John Ross, those I think were Joe Judge moves, and I like my head coach being in the ear of the GM, but I don't want him at all being the GM. Let the coaches coach, let the front office handle the roster, but let the roster be heard and have their inputs heard by the head coach. So let me know. Get your votes in. Do you want Joe Judge to be the GM and the head coach? There's only really one coach in the NFL that's a GM and a head coach, and that's Bill Belichick. And I don't think any of us think that Joe Judge is the next Bill. So get your votes in. Y for yes and for no. This next one coming from Flagspin. Should the Giants trade for a QB this offseason? If so, who be available? What a way of asking that. I think it's fitting that we're answering this question because Daniel Jones is dealing with an injury for the third year in a row. But for QBs who will probably be on the market, whether that's free agency or trade market, these are the five guys that I cooked up and talked with my guy Tom Downey, the host of the Cowboys Report, about. Aaron Rodgers. It's been a long, detailed history, the beef that he's had with the head coach, the GM. I think he's going to be out after this year, most likely with the trade. He's high on my list. Matt Ryan, he's not high on my list. He's 36 years old. I think he has a noodle arm at this point, and he's someone that I am not interested to be the future quarterback for the Giants. Russell Wilson, he's 33 years old. I think his time is running thin in Seattle. If you listen to Pete Carroll's interview following the last game, he had some choice words about Russell Wilson, so he could be out. Deshaun Watson, it's really murky and cloudy around him, but if everything clears up, which who knows if it will, He would be the number one guy on my list because he's 26 years old and probably the best quarterback with the most years to play. And then Jimmy G, porn star Jimmy, 30 years old. Another guy I would consider, but I don't really see Jimmy Garoppolo as a needle mover. I kind of see him as just a better Daniel Jones, a guy that has injury problems, but is more of just a boat driver than the engine of the car. I don't really like Jimmy G that much. But I would lean towards Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson. I think they're the best 30 QBs on this list, and probably Deshaun Watson, number one, because of his age. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. This show's not all about me. It's really more about you guys than you know. Here at Chat Sports, we thrive off audience interaction, so get your votes in for me. What quarterback do you want the Giants to trade for in the offseason if you want them to do so? Type AR for Aaron Rodgers, type JG for Jimmy Garoppolo, DW for Deshaun Watson, or RW for Russell Wilson. This next question coming in from Eric Richards. How soon to the NY Giants are legitimate contenders and make the playoffs consistently like the Yankees? I love it. I'm a Yankees fan as well. I wish they would have made some moves this offseason, but now because of the lockout, who knows what's about to happen. But I think this offseason is going to be a real big one and a very important one for the New York Giants. Upcoming in the NFL draft, most likely you're going to have 2 top 10 picks. The 2022 NFL draft is when the New York Giants can turn it around. You have a lot of picks to make and 5 picks in the top 75. Those are 5 premium draft picks. And if you hit on every single one, which everyone knows the NFL draft is like purchasing a lottery ticket. But if you can get 3 starters out of the first 5 picks that are projected right now to be in the top 75, I really think this roster can make a big overhaul and be a different type of team next year. You take 2 offensive linemen in the first round, follow that by 2 edge rushers, and then maybe another cornerback or an off-ball linebacker, and maybe some of those guys are instant playmakers and instant difference makers. I think this Giants team could look a lot better and maybe make a push for the 2022 NFL playoffs. If the Giants make the playoffs this year, we'll be making videos about it like we have all year round. Jason Garrett was fired. We had a video up. Dave Gettleman, the news broke that he wasn't going to be back next year. We had a video up about it. Anytime breaking news, or just news or trade rumors, Daniel Jones being out for this week against the Miami Dolphins, we are going to make videos about it. This is your one-stop shop for Giants news and rumors, so hit that big red button. And we're trying to catch my guy Matthew Peterson, the host of the Browns Report here at Chat Sports. Just a couple weeks ago, we were more than 700 subs down. Now, we're just under 400 subscribers. I'm super ecstatic and super pumped for all of you guys that have hit that big red button. So thank you to everyone that has done so. And if you're a new viewer on today's video, go down right now and join the family of New York Giants now. This next one coming from Manning 2024. I love it, brother. Are you worried about Saquon? He doesn't look like the same guy we were supposed to be getting from Penn State. He hasn't. At Penn State, he was the best running back in the country, and he hasn't been a top 5 back since his rookie year in the NFL. These stats that I want you guys to see on screen, I think are very, very telling and kind of draw the picture and paint the picture of who Saquon Barkley is as a running back. I know all of you guys are going to be in the comments, but Marshall, we don't have an offensive line. What about Wayne Gallman? He didn't have an offensive line. The past 2 seasons, 147 touches, 4.6 yards per carry, and his percent of runs less than 2 yards is 40%. Whereas Saquon Barkley, his percent of runs that are less than 2 yards, 59%, 92 total carries, averaging just 3.2 yards per tote. What about Devontae Booker? This year alone, 91 carries, 3.7 yards per carry, and only 51% of his rushes are less than 2 yards. Then Alfred Morris last year, 55 carries, 4.3 yards a touch, and only 45% of his rushes are less than 2 yards per carry. What does that tell you? Right now, the way this Giants offensive line is constructed, it does not fit Saquon Barkley in the way that he runs the football. Saquon Barkley is a home run hitter. He is someone that's going to go for 30 yards, then 1 yard, then 2 yards, then -1, then -3, then another 30-yard run. But I'm not ready to completely be out on Saquon Barkley because running back is a dependent position, and they rely on the offensive line to create running lanes and running holes. And simply put, that hasn't happened since Barkley has put on the New York Giants blue. So I'm not ready to say that he is a bust, but he has to turn it around quick, and next year I think is going to be the final year for him to show the Giants front office and the John Mara and Tisch family that he can be the Giants running back of the future. But sound off for me. How do you feel right now about Saquon Barkley? Are you tired of him? Do you want him back next year? Should they trade him? Should they cut him? What do you think they should do? Whatever you're feeling, get it off your chest, sound off in the comments, and let me know what your stance on Saquon Barkley is right now. Last one coming from Alan Gonzalez. With how poor Nate Solder and Matt Peary have been playing at tackle, how soon do you see them putting in Isaiah Wilson? I mean, I don't really think Isaiah Wilson is going to be the guy to play tackle this year for the New York Giants. I'm really just shocked that he's still on the roster at this point. Everything he had gone from the Titans to the Miami Dolphins and everything that he's gone through since coming out of Georgia, I think it's just good for him as a person outside of football to still be on the roster. The Giants, they have a lot of Georgia Bulldogs on this roster that played with him there. Andrew Thomas, he was his college roommate. He's on the other side of the Giants' offensive line. He has sung praises of Isaiah Wilson, saying he's come in and worked hard. I don't see him playing this year, but what about next year? The Giants' offensive line, Nate Solder could be gone. Matt Peart, they could cut him. They could bring him back. They clearly aren't that high on Matt Peart. He can't start over Nate Solder. So maybe if Isaiah Wilson could go through an offseason in the Joe Judge program and show that he can be a professional football player on and off the field, because it's never been about talent with Isaiah Wilson. It's what he has in between his ears, not this headset. That's not what I'm talking about. But if Isaiah Wilson can get right, he is a mauler, he's a big body, he's athletic, maybe he can be the starting right tackle for the Giants next year.